This week on Blockbusted, we go full spoilers with Wonder Woman, and I would venture to say that I think this is one of our best episodes in a while, so stay tuned. We also talk about some other news and stuff. It's kind of, off the rails as usual, but that's expected. Welcome to Blockbusted. So Hitchcock, I'm gonna start one more time. No, you know what? I'm gonna leave it in. So Hitchcock. We've had to, the past few episodes, we've really had to redo the So Hitchcock several times to get it right, actually. And it's because, I think partially it's because at this point, when we first started doing it, I was like, I had a purpose. It just happened to be a thing I would say, So Hitchcock blank. But now, it's just the given thing that I say. So I don't even have an intent behind it. I just say So Hitchcock. And then I trail off at the end because I don't know what I'm going to say next. So I go, So Hitchcock. And then I realize I don't know what I'm saying. And I go, I
gotta do it again. I gotta contain my thoughts.
But you know what, Hitchcock? I actually do have something to say.
When do you not, though?
Good point. We've actually got quite a bit to say this week because there's been quite a bit of news as of late, as of recent. But there have been so many. For those who don't know, right, last week I released my Marvel Cinematic Universe Analyzed video. Which was an hour and a half. It was a very, very large review that I worked on for a good 2 to 3 months, developing the script and editing and shooting and all that. That was a very long review of all 15 movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it's on Letterboxd. You can rate it if you want, but please watch it first, if that would be nice.
Doesn't matter. Just rate it. Just give him 5
not
stars.
to brag here, but definitely to brag. I am very, very proud of how it turned out. Now,
I bet you are.
There are some issues that people have had with it that are valid, and namely, one of those issues is that it's not the deepest video ever.
Edited like crap.
No, it's edited great, Hitchcock. I spent so much time on it. How dare you insult my work? That's what goes on in my head anytime anyone insults it.
Oh boy.
But no, people have said that it does. It doesn't go super deep with these movies. It only scratches the surface of the sort of surface level review of them, which is fair. But that said, I was reviewing 15 movies, and I went as deep as I could with each one without making the review 5 hours long, Honestly, because it was an hour and a half already, and I was going fairly, moderately deep with each one as well as I could under the circumstances. So anyway, I'm not here to defend myself.
Yeah, you are.
But I'm totally here to defend myself.
Yeah, you are.
Because I'm just very insecure. I saw this comic yesterday that was on Twitter. It was this guy, and he's got a speech bubble above his head that says confidence, and then a little thing that says small, tiny criticism bumps into it, and then the confidence bubble explodes into nothingness.
Oh boy.
But all of this to say, I was leading into the fact that there have been some moronic comments on this video thus far.
I bet there have.
And I thought we could make a funny little segment of joking about them real quick. And
okay.
Again, as I said, there have actually been some perfectly fair criticisms, but I'm only going to
But on
read
the other
stupid
hand, there's
ones
a ton of unfair criticisms.
because they're entertaining. So my favorite one thus far, well, one of my favorites is leading up to now, if you listen to this podcast, you know that you and I have both been insecure, very insecure, about being called Marvel fanboys, right? Because we both really like Marvel a lot. We like their movies. We bow down and worship everything that they do. But we're not Marvel fanboys at all, right?
No way.
But so with this video, I was so worried that people would call me a Marvel fanboy with it. And even after it was done, I was like, I hope people don't call me a Marvel fanboy. But no, actually, I'm being called a Marvel hater more than anything in these comments. And it is hilarious to see because there's only one film in this review that I actually give a really bad review, which is the Incredible Hulk, which I think is an abysmal film. But what's hilarious is that with all the others, and maybe Age of Ultron I give a little bit of a harsh review on, but with all the others, I give totally a sort of compare and contrast. I say there's lots of entertaining stuff. I give all the goods and the bad, and just do some small criticisms of each film.
But you're still wrong. When it comes down to it, you're just wrong.
When it comes down to it, you have to love everything 100% to be known as a fan of it, right?
Of anything.
One of my favorite comments here It says, "What the hell is this? It's more like the Marvel Cinematic Universe criticized Smith," aka shaking my head. Because the video is called the Marvel Cinematic Universe Analyzed.
Right? Analyzed, but criticized. Exactly.
It's criticized. So, you know,
How
I
dare
just
you.
I took it in stride because I think the definition. What do they call those things again? Right? Like when you review movies, what's your occupation job called? I don't remember what the title of that. Oh, it's film critic. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Critic.
Film critic.
As in the root word of criticize.
Huh.
Funny connection there, right? I didn't really think about that.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah. I also got Ant-Man was a good movie, butt wipe. Except he didn't say butt. We're trying to keep things family friendly here.
Family friendly, because we all know you guys sit down at your dinner table every night, you know.
Right. In the last episode, we did talk about
Plug
that.
in
How
the
my parents have
speaker.
listened to this podcast before, and pointed out the times that I have said frick. So, I mean, I do have to keep things cleaner
Yeah,
than
keep
clean,
it toned down
if
every
you
now
will.
and then. Just bring it back a notch, okay?
But so yeah, there was that. Let's see. I'm scrolling through. My favorite comment by far was the one that said people are very, very dogging the video because I reference the color grading issues in Marvel movies so much.
Color grading police, get out of here.
I mean, I definitely talk about it a lot,
Yeah.
but that's because it's a
It's
big
a
issue
legitimate issue
in
with
Marvel
Marvel
movies,
Every
and I'm
Marvel
talking
movie
about
has that
15
problem.
different movies,
Yeah.
most of which it's a big issue with. So, I mean, yeah, it's going to come up a lot. And I tried my best to, the reason it comes up a lot is because I wanted to address it in every review or almost every review of each movie and talk about, well, this one succeeds with the color grading, this one doesn't succeed, right?
Exactly.
But so because of that, there are a lot of shots saying, take a shot every time he says color grading. Ha, I'm drunk now. Also,
And you weren't already?
yeah, right. My favorite comment of all, right? This is by far my favorite, is, what are you, some sort of color grading Nazi god?
Indeed.
To which I
Indeed
respond,
am.
yes, that is in fact my official title. Absolutely.
that's great.
I would
That
put
is
that
so
on my
great.
business cards, man.
Man, you totally should, though.
Yeah, I know, right?
Color grading Nazi. Should rig up the Nazi logo with a bunch of different colors on it.
Let's see.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, here's, you're so dang picky. Okay.
Aren't you just?
I mean, yeah, I am, but
But
yeah.
that's the point, you know? Criticize it.
Trying to see if there's anything else. I think that's about it. I don't want this segment to go on too long.
You got some full-on essays in there, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. Dude, there was one comment, right, that went on for literally, I pasted it into Microsoft Word, like several pages. And it was insane.
love it.
I couldn't believe I was reading it.
love it.
Needless to say, I did not read the whole thing because I do not have time for that. Normally, I would read your comment if it was one sentence, but it was not one sentence. It was about 3,000. So, yeah, there's that.
Oh, boy.
I think that's about it. We should
Okay.
probably get on with the
Moving
show,
on.
eh? But how have you been, Hitchcock? It's been 2 weeks since our last episode.
It
eh?
has. It's been a jolly long time, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
man.
What did we talk about? We talked about those trilogies last time.
Oh yeah, that was a good episode. I enjoyed that. It was a good sort of conceptual episode, if you will. We talked about some
good
concepts.
old wing it episode, you know?
Oh yeah, such a winged episode. This is a less winged episode. I feel.
It is.
I feel
we're
it's
prepped
less.
Up.
Yeah,
We're prepped up.
we're
We've
hyped.
had
We're
2
pumped,
weeks
we're
to
ready.
think about all this massive news
We know what we're
we
talking
got.
about. Yeah, there's obviously Wonder Woman, which we're going to talk about first. And
We're gonna
then
switch it up a little.
there's been tons of news recently
sure.
that we haven't addressed yet, so we're going to get to that in the final act of the podcast, if you will. This has been Act 1. Act 2 will be the review of Wonder Woman.
Yes.
But how have you been, Hitchcock? How have you been? Is school over
I've
for you
been
yet?
Pretty good. School's under wraps, pretty much.
Mm.
I got that math and chemistry to finish,
Oh, right. Yeah.
which is a booger. But, yeah.
That's the
It's
best
a
description of it yet.
It's terrible, man.
Well, I
Yeah,
finished
other than
my
that, what about
math
that?
last Sunday. I took
yeah?
took my final on Sunday because I'm homeschooled, so I can do that. And
You failed.
that meant I was done. So I was done, and that was that.
Amazing.
I also saw several movies to kind of
Yeah, you did.
greenlight the summer. Right? I saw
Yeah.
I saw Get Out. I saw King Arthur: Legend of the Sword, and I saw Pirates 5. And then I saw Wonder Woman, obviously. So I'll probably get to a few of those in pick of the week, if you will. That's
that what we
actually
call
Act
it?
4 in this
We'll call it
3-act
pick of the
structured
week,
episode.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, this whole past week, I was blanking on what we call that final section of our podcast where we talk about something we watched over the week.
Well, you
I'm
could
like,
call
is
it
Pick of the Week?
What Are We Reading, which is the segment that we ripped it off from the
Yeah.
Weekly Planet,
Yeah.
which is basically their segment where they talk about what they watched that week. But no, it's totally our segment. It's called
It
Pick of
is.
the Week. We invented
Pick
this.
of the Week. Invented. Completely original.
I just got a comment just now from Thomas, who is the Geek Wave,
Yes.
and he was in my bloody Marvel Cinematic Universe video. He's a talented young man,
Good stuff.
and he commented on one of my very, very old Houston Productions 1 videos. Right when I back in the old days when I did Lego
Back in the
stuff.
day.
Funny enough, the most viewed video on my channel is called Spectacular Iron Man Armory. And
Yes.
it's all caps. And it's basically, back in the day, I used to do videos where I would find cool mocks, my own creation, Lego
Yeah, I
things
remember
online,
that.
right? And I just highlight them on my channel. And I just post the photos and say, I was looking online and I found these photos. Check them
Yeah.
out, guys. And yeah, that's actually my highest viewed video. It's got 1.5 million views.
That's a
And
lot.
I actually haven't made any money off of it, funny enough, because there's copyrighted material in it. I don't remember what's copyrighted, but yeah, I haven't made any money off of it.
Got him.
But so he just commented 1.5 million plus views on a few pictures of someone else's creative idea. And he's not wrong. He's totally right.
So
he's
original,
100%
man. So
correct.
original.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
I actually feel bad about those days. Although I was highlighting other people's work and I linked to his stuff. So I mean, there is that. But
Yeah.
to the other point,
You still saw their
it was
credit,
almost like a
though.
reaction channel in that sense, where I stole someone else's work and just sold it.
Oh.
And, yeah,
that's the worst sin of all, right
I
there.
feel like being like a reaction channel is the worst sin of all, man. I feel like that's my old Weapon X days, like Wolverine had, right? Now
Yeah.
I've reformed. I've gotten better. I've become a real creator, if you will.
He become an old brutal man. It's just gonna be everyone up that tries to take all his tires,
Oh, yeah.
aka the comment section.
That's
boy.
they're beating me to a bloody pulp, and I'm just like, knife through the head and all this.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. All right. So Hitchcock, we know what
Let's
we're talking
get
about
to
today. Let's do this. You and I saw Wonder Woman. You
We
saw it
did.
this morning. I
This
saw it
morning.
last night
Yeah.
because I've always got to see it ahead of you somehow.
Uh-huh.
What
Hey,
did
I
you
saw
think?
Avengers before you. I'm good.
Oh,
And 10 Cloverfield Lane.
oh yeah, you did, didn't you? Man, that still annoys me because 10 Cloverfield Lane is one of my favorite movies ever.
Dude, that was like the best movie experience ever, right?
Totally. Oh my gosh, it
there.
was
Oh, I
amazing.
love it.
All right. First of all, how was your theater experience, Hitchcock? Yeah, man. How was your theater experience, and what did you think of Wonder Woman, man?
Theater experience. Well, my experience.
Rate
in
your
the
theater experience out of 22.
Out of the actual experience. Out of 22, I'd give it a solid 7.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Just kidding.
Were there any loud people in the theater?
No. No,
Yeah?
it was all nice and smooth. It was cold though. It was cold
You know,
in the theater.
funny enough, I haven't had many bad experiences
Yeah,
in movie
me
theaters
neither.
in many
It's
years.
been pretty mellow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
I'm
it's
not
partly because
complaining,
I go to the reserved seating theater all the time.
I do
and
too, yeah.
I think people have more respect there because they paid
Yeah.
more and they've got reserved seats, and also it's AMC and it's nice.
Yeah.
So
And like the Weekly Planet said that they're afraid that we can go up and track him down. You know, give me that dude's number. They'll say E5.
right,
Who is
yeah,
he? I need to find him.
yeah, it's good.
Stuff. But yeah, Wonder Woman. I saw it this morning,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I came out and I'm like, yeah, that was pretty all right. It was, I mean, definitely nothing groundbreaking, nothing
Right.
amazing.
Yeah,
But it served its purpose. It was a good origin story for Wonder Woman. I thought it was just a good summer blockbuster. You know,
yeah,
nothing too much more. You know, I have some problems that we'll get into, but
yeah,
and then a ton of stuff I really liked.
yeah.
So
I
it's
agree.
growing on me a bit more too. The more I think about it.
Yeah, me as well. I liked
Yeah,
it quite a
it's
bit.
not bad.
I feel like on the one hand, yeah, it's very cliche, very by the
Yeah.
books,
Oh, yeah.
very formula, especially, stuff towards the end where the villain's going, join me or I will destroy you. You're better than them. You will die. You're not powerful enough to stop me. And I'm like, are you serious? Did you take this dialogue from every other superhero movie?
Oh boy.
As
Yeah.
well as the fact that, which we'll get into, it's very similar to Thor and Captain America: The First Avenger.
Yep.
But on the other hand, while it is such a
Cliche.
formula story, I feel like at the same time it's kind of a throwback to the good old days of simpler superhero movies, like the first
Okay,
phase of
nice,
Marvel,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that did make me like it a lot more because
Sure.
even some of Marvel's newer origin movies like Ant-Man and stuff have been so complicated by the fact that they're connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like
Yeah.
Ant-Man having to fight with Falcon and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And this film, to DC's credit, unlike their other films, was not a commercial for anything else and was
Oh
not
yeah, that is a good point. Yeah.
it wasn't filled with setups. It had a Wayne Enterprises cameo, but that felt
Yeah.
perfectly, warranted.
Yeah.
and
Flowed
so-
nicely.
It's self-contained. It sets up a character. It serves its perfect purpose, and I feel like for the most part, it doesn't feel like a film that the studio interfered with much. It's not a
No.
Suicide Squad where
No.
the studio tried to get it to max marketability or something.
Uh-huh.
And that's great. I feel like it is, for the most part, it feels like one director's vision, and
Good. Yeah.
that's really
agree.
a remarkable thing in this day and age.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah.
For sure. Good stuff.
So yeah, do you have anything to say, or should I get into a topic or something?
Oh. Anything to say?
I don't know what I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna.
I don't know. I don't
wing
know
it,
what
right?
I'm gonna say. Are we gonna? Do we have a plan, an outline? I'm hoping you've whipped something up.
I have whipped nothing up because this
all right,
episode
all
is
right.
in fact a wing it. Psych,
It
we
is.
tricked you. What did you think of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman? Why don't we
Gal
start there?
Gadot.
Yeah.
Okay. This was big skeptical for me going into it. I just, from the trailers and several things I'd seen, I'm like, I don't know what she can do.
Right.
I mean, she looks a bit cringeworthy.
Yeah.
She's kind
And
of
I hold
annoying.
my ground that I don't think she's very good in Batman v Superman at all. Like I
Yeah,
think she's
yeah.
close to bad in that.
Sure. But I mean, as I was watching it, I was definitely paying attention to like that. Is her line delivery okay? And,
Yeah.
it wasn't the greatest by far, but I think as the film went on, it definitely got better. And to begin out with, she wasn't that great, I didn't think, but near the end, I thought she was really good near the end.
Yeah.
And maybe that's partly because it's so awkward with the fish out of water scenario.
Right.
Her in London and she's carrying around the sword.
Well,
and
and see,
stuff,
I
and
think-
it's like, ugh.
I think that maybe Gal Gadot isn't the greatest actress. She's not very good in the
Yeah.
Fast and
Oh,
Furious
yeah.
movies either.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think maybe she isn't the greatest actress, but I think that
Definitely
she's
not.
suited to this role to the point where
Sure.
even if she wouldn't be great in another role, like a truly great actor could play, lots of different types of roles, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Gal Gadot could ever do that. I don't think she's some sort of amazing method actor who could win an Oscar, right?
Oh, no,
But
definitely not.
I think that she's suited to this role very well, especially in
Yeah.
this film. And she does play off the naivete and the fish out of water stuff and the sort of innocence and wide-eyedness really, really well.
Oh yeah. I agree.
And I really liked her in this movie, honestly.
Yeah.
Like you, I've given her so much flack over time and stuff. And I just kind of fell in love with her. A, because she's gorgeous, but B, because she's a great character.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Her character in this is phenomenal.
Yeah,
Great
and
development. All
and
around.
she, I honestly feel like this is one of the most connected. This is the most connected I've felt to a superhero in quite a long time, and especially to a DC
wow.
superhero, especially
Wow.
to that. She's
That's crazy.
by
Yeah.
far the best DC superhero thus far.
Uh-huh.
And obviously for reasons we'll get into, that is because she is a hopeful, good,
Yes.
pure
Yep.
superhero, and she's got love in her heart and wants to actually help people. And
Yeah.
there's so many examples of that, and so many moments, just tiny little moments in the film that give her so much more depth and character and likability
Definitely.
that I really love. Although she's not perfect, she's not a Mary
No.
Sue either,
No.
and that's great as well. Because really, for the whole film, while she is this inspirational, pure-hearted hero, she's believing a lie almost.
Yeah.
for much of it. And so because of that, and in almost every good film, the character is believing a lie for much of the film and pursuing that lie. And the climax lies in them, realizing the lie and overcoming it and finding out the truth. But so, yeah, I thought that they did a really wonderful job of giving her this likability and pureness, and felt like Christopher Reeve's Superman, as some people have said, and was what I wanted Superman to be, right?
Yeah.
But also gave her a level of humanity and flaws and depth that I thought was pretty astounding. And I just thought she was a really wonderful character.
I agree.
No pun intended. So, yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah. No, I agree fully on that. That's one of the things. Without her character and the way they did it and the way they developed it so well, this movie would have been pretty bad, know? Because that's the thing that sticks out for me.
Right.
It's just Gal Gadot and the way she does it, the way she portrayed the character. Even though it wasn't like my favorite, the best, it's still really solid.
Yeah. Especially
for a summer blockbuster. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be this huge, amazing, masterpiece or whatever.
Yeah.
But for a DC blockbuster, it was really good.
Yeah. I think it met my expectations. I don't think it was underwhelming in any way, but I also don't think it was like surpassed my expectations in any way. I think it was exactly what I thought it and hoped it would be. Yeah. And it's definitely a step in the right direction for DC. And I hope that Warner Brothers realizes that hope, no pun intended, is okay to have.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so and also it does give you a little bit more hype for Justice League, simply because you kind of look forward to seeing her as a character again.
Yeah,
I just hope that she is the same character, right, in Justice League, and not a completely different Zack Snyder version of the character, right?
See, that's the thing. Having these origin stories before you have the team up gets you excited for it, right?
Yeah.
Because we've seen Wonder Woman, and we're like, oh, okay, we know her character. We know what she's been through. So it makes it all more interesting.
Ever think about that?
So, yeah. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to see how she is in Justice League,
Yeah.
So it'll be fun.
Yeah. And again, I said a few weeks ago, I said this, that, I thought I knew for a fact that this film was going to be not bad, because it looked as if it was going to be aiming for the origin story, sort of just basic bar. Generic, and being just a normal origin story. And how hard could it be to get that wrong? So I think it definitely hit that, because it wasn't aiming too high. Like, Batman v Superman, to its credit, had huge ambitions, but it was aiming too high, and so it fell flat. This didn't aim too high. It aimed just at the right, safe portion, and it hit that mark perfectly. And I did think it maybe surpassed that mark a little bit, and gave a little bit more heart and more charm, I guess would be a great word to use, than the average superhero movie. I enjoyed this more than Thor, and more than maybe more than Captain America: The First Avenger, maybe.
Somewhat, yeah.
Maybe, yeah. I enjoyed it more than several of the origin movies. Yeah,
it's very similar to Captain
I also
America
enjoyed it more than Ant-Man, probably.
Definitely
more than Ant-Man. In fact, it was a lot more exceptional than that, and had emotion that I connected with. So
yeah, it had some great emotion too. Especially towards the end. Even though that is super generic or whatever. But,
right. So. Yeah, which we'll get to. I guess we'll talk about the story at some point. But why don't we keep talking about the characters a little bit?
Okay, yeah.
What did you think of Steve Trevor, played by Chris Pine?
Steve. Yeah.
Rogers.
I mean, he was good. He was good. He had some great moments. I thought him and his chemistry with Wonder Woman were great, I thought. And I like that little love story they had going. So,
yeah.
I mean, nothing too amazing. I didn't know he was a spy, so that was cool to see.
Yeah.
See what he was doing. And he was spying on them,
Well, in the moment that he stumbles into Themyscira is really cool, as you see that force field kind of open, and like the Germans sort of realize what's going on. They're like, "What is this?" Right? That was really super cool. And it's funny because people were like, "This film's going to be feminist propaganda, and it's going to be blah blah blah." And it turned out to be a really well-balanced film. It wasn't Ghostbusters 2016, which pitted all the men as garbage, moronic, scumbags who just, hate women and they're all dumb doofuses and all this stuff, And if you hate our film, then you're a sexist, right? This wasn't that.
No, not
and
at all.
in fact, it did some things that were totally not feminist things, right?
Yeah.
It gave us several male characters who were actually good people and who she learned from, and they learned from her. It was totally an equal sort of giving relationship. As well as it gave, it gave us some situations in which she starts out at the beginning of the film almost like too much of a feminist, going, well, why would I ever want to get married? Men suck, right? And then by the end, falls in love with this guy, and there's actually a romantic subplot.
She cares for the whole group of guys at the end.
Right. Many feminists would be like, well, we women don't need men, and so we're not going to put any romantic subplot in this movie because those suck, right?
Yeah.
No, like it was still a very classy and resonant film because of that. And
I wasn't getting
really liked that they went there.
any feminist vibes from this, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was perfectly balanced. I couldn't tell at all. There's several moments, like when is it Charlie, I think? He's like, well, I'll stay behind, and Wonder Woman's like, no, he needs you or whatever. Who will sing, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that was a good moment, and so I didn't feel like it was feminist at all, which I really
Again,
liked.
such a delicate goodness that she has, and this way of encouraging and building everyone up. The scene where she is talking to all the villagers that she's just saved really hit home for me. Like, I loved seeing her shaking everyone's hand and hugging these women and stuff, and it was like, that's what a hero is,
Definitely.
And
that's what Superman should have been.
That's what Superman should have been. Right? Like, compare that to the montage in Batman v Superman where he's just sadly saving people. Oh, this is my burden. It's such a burden. Oh, I hate saving people. Right? And like then he's like saved the girl from the burning building, and like he's just looking all like smug and burdened and whatever as the people are all standing around him holding out their hands. Like Wonder Woman didn't do that. She actually was thankful for her position and saying you're welcome to people and hugging them and being glad that they were safe and encouraging people and building them up as this leader and as this hero. And that was beautiful,
It was great. I love it.
Really loved that. And I did like the relationship that she developed with those howling commandos, for lack of a better word. Yeah.
Good stuff. I agree.
But yeah, I guess we were talking about Steve Trevor, who I thought was
Steve?
a great. We haven't said spoilers, but I'm going to put that in the description and in the title.
I figured that. Yeah, I figured.
But I like that they killed him off. Going into the film, that kind of dawned on me very quickly. I was like, oh wait, they'll have to kill him off.
He's gonna die.
Right.
He's gonna die.
But I thought that the moment where he aims the gun at the bombs, right?
Oh, yeah, that was good.
It was really good because they held on his face for so long, and you really saw each emotion pass through him. And Chris Pine is a good actor, so you see that.
Definitely.
Right before he does it, and they give it this kind of beautiful lingering moment, which I loved.
Yeah.
So that was great. I really enjoyed
that. And that moment he has right before when he's talking to Diana, right? And she gets knocked away. And she can barely hear him, and he runs away,
And then you hear what he says later.
Yeah, that was good.
I like that a lot.
That. I like that little edit there. So, yeah, his character was definitely great. Without him, this film would have been lacking.
Right. Well, he's the everyman, that we've talked about in the past. Yeah. He's the Han Solo. He's the blah 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 who takes the dumb, fantasy stuff that Wonder Woman brings to it and humors it a bit. Although. Definitely. Again, like she learns things from him, he learns things from her. And I thought that it was a character that had a surprising amount of depth to me because
he did.
You can clearly see him wanting to believe everything she's saying and wanting to believe that everything is as simple as she claims it is, black and white and stuff, but also struggling with the fact that he's seen war for so long and sort of
that's good.
Trying to figure out how to rein her in and break the truth to her that things maybe are more gray than black and white.
Definitely.
And I thought that was a good dilemma, and it was a good dilemma that she had.
Yeah, I agree. Totally. He's a great character. Who else we got?
Um,
Howling Commandos.
yeah, they were people, weren't they?
They were. I mean, there wasn't much there. I mean, little development.
I guess they gave them
So-
a little bit more character than the Howling Commandos in Cap, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
point. Uh-huh.
in Cap, all we know is Dum Dum Dugan and Bucky, right?
Yeah.
And then I guess there's an Asian guy and a black guy, and then there's the other guys.
Uh-huh.
In
Good
this,
point.
I thought they tackled the sort of PTSD of the Irish guy pretty well.
Yeah.
And then there was the fun, cocky playboy
Yeah,
guy.
he was cool. He was
Yeah.
cool. He was fun.
I enjoyed him. He said, "What did he say? I am both afraid and aroused," or something.
Yeah.
Right. That was good. And then he's like, "You're telling me there's an island of all these beautiful women? How does
With
one
no
get there?
men?"
And no men? How does one get there?"
Yeah, I mean, there were great moments throughout.
Yeah,
Just these
yeah.
characters with good humor.
Yeah.
that-
They
that
served their
landed,
purpose
you know?
well enough.
Yeah, yeah, they did. Nothing too special.
Mm-hmm.
So, good stuff.
I thought the beginning of the film
Uh-huh.
with all the Themyscira stuff was a little slow.
Uh-huh.
And there
It
was
dragged a
certainly
bit.
a lot of exposition, giving details about we're the people of blankety blankety
This is
blank,
the
and this
god
is what the
killer.
gods did, and blah 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 blah, right?
Uh-huh.
But I think what made that work was that it was still anchored in relational drama instead of just exposition.
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
because of that, we still are seeing her relationship with her aunt and with her mother throughout all of this. And I thought
Uh-huh.
it held the audience's attention a little bit more than it would have if those things weren't involved.
Sure.
So I like that they had that. And then with her aunt's death,
Yeah, that was good.
it was no tearjerker, but
Oh, no, definitely
it was
not.
it
But, I
was
mean,
more
served its
emotional than it,
purpose.
could have been. It was
Uh-huh.
fair, Yeah, I thought it was fine. Although that said, Amazons can die from bullets. I guess they can.
Yeah, I found...
Like, yeah?
Huh? Like, they can die from bullets, and... So does
Wonder
it,
Woman's
I mean,
just really good at not
guess-
not getting hit by any bullets ever.
or anything. Like...
Right.
I guess that yeah, because at the end of the film, I'm like, so she walked away from that battle with Ares completely unscratched.
Right. Yeah. It's.
So
I
I'm
don't
like,
think they define her powers well enough in this film.
no,
you
not
know?
at all. Because at times she's like wielding that lightning that he throws at her.
Right. Yeah.
She's using her cuffs. Like, how does that work?
Why doesn't
this
she
and
just
that.
do the nuclear cuff explosion every time? Right.
Yeah.
To everything.
Yeah, good point. So
And
definitely
then
could have some. And
It's
all of a
unclear as
sudden
to
she's
whether she
flying.
can fly. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was odd.
She can. I guess she can just sort of jump fly.
Yeah, well, you know,
know?
like Superman does, and Man of Steel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Before, when
that's
he's just
some
getting on
jumping
his feet, man. Don't make fun of him. He's just a little walking
From mountain
talking.
to mountain.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And then there was the other stuff of like they come in and the British sort of take down the Germans take down all of these Amazon warriors like nothing. And I like that moment because you're like, no, they've been training their whole life to fight these guys and they're just taking them out with guns.
Yeah.
But you're
yeah.
supposed to feel that way because you're like, Germans suck and guns suck, right?
Good point.
But then it makes you go, wow, they took down several of those Amazon warriors really easily. And then Wonder Woman takes on bullets throughout the whole movie and nothing.
Yep.
Although, I guess an argument can be made that she was more special than them. She was kind of a
Yeah,
god or
'cause
whatever,
she was
question
brought
mark.
to life by Zeus.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well that's obvious why she has the powers, why she can freaking punch through concrete. You
Right.
know?
That was fun. I love the climbing wall bit.
Yeah,
that was good.
nice. Very
Yeah.
nice.
What did you think of the sort of reveal that the sword isn't the weapon, that she's the weapon?
That's fine.
Yeah.
No? I mean,
I predicted it
I
like
wasn't- I
10
wasn't
seconds before he
expecting
said
it.
it. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
she's the weapon. And he was like, no, you're the weapon.
yeah, I predicted it when. Yeah, I think I was similar when he
Yeah.
broke the sword. I was like, I got it.
Got him. Yeah.
Which makes sense because then, like, you think back to the moment when Diana's a little girl and she's like, "Can I see this weapon or the God Killer or whatever?" And her mom looks at her kind of like
Yeah.
skeptical, like,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, sure. And
So I
shows
guess
her
they
something
just
that's not.
they put that sword there to sort of be like to tell her that.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
And also,
Yeah,
then her mother's like,
special sword.
the lady's like, should you have told her that she's the weapon? And her mother's like, the more she knows, the quicker he'll find her. No, you should have told her that so that she didn't go around carrying a sword that she didn't need to carry. And then
boy.
she could have died if she didn't
Yeah.
know. And then
Yeah.
also, if Ares hadn't told her, she still wouldn't know that she was the weapon, right?
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Why did he tell her as well? That was my question. Was like, so she's the weapon and you're going to tell her that she's the weapon,
That she
even though
can
that
kill
means
you.
that now she knows how to kill you, right? That was kind of a dumb move, right?
I guess. I mean, it
But,
makes
yeah.
sense. It makes sense that she was the weapon. So.
Yeah, definitely. And I like the
I like-
fact
I
that
like the
she's the
backstory
daughter
of
of Zeus,
Zeus.
and then at the
Yeah.
end she goes, "Goodbye, brother," and you go, "Oh yeah, they would be they would be so."
Oh, that's trippy, man. That's trippy.
Yeah, it was good.
So. It's, yeah.
It's hilarious to me that the Greek gods exist in this universe.
It is. It's so odd. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. I'm like,
Yeah.
we got Zeus, we got Poseidon, we got
Right.
all these. I'm like, yeah, Batman is in this universe.
Hey, stop stomping around! Sorry, there's people stomping around in the closet.
Oh boy.
Oi! I thought you were in the living room.
I just drink my water.
Yeah, just you go for it. Okay, I think
I'll
they've
spin
stopped.
my fidget.
I think they've stopped. All right, I'm gonna keep that in because endearing, funny little mistake moments, right? Right?
I guess.
I guess, right?
You know, we're really ripping off the Weekly Planet now because I got my dog in the room right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
you should pet it and get it to bark or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always forget that you have any pets because I never see them on FaceTime, and I've never
Yeah,
been to your
dog.
house either.
You
So
gotta. I know you've never.
never.
Just anytime.
Let's
You know
see.
what annoys me about the sword, the God Killer,
You go for it.
was this was just like I don't know if it was an editing mistake or something, but at the very end when the dude Remus Lupin walks in, right, and they're standing talking to him,
Right.
and she reaches back for her sword, but then she remembers it's up stabbed through the roof, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then I'm pretty sure it cuts to a different scene, and then it cuts back and she jumps down with the sword,
Right. Yeah.
and I'm just like.
He
So
let
you
her do that?
expect- So the dude just stood there while she went up and grabbed the sword.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. I thought the
honestly,
exact same thing. Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on here? That's a bit weird. So I don't know. Little
Yeah.
nitpicky details that have annoyed
Nitpicky
me.
details. There are lots of different nitpicking details, which I think we'll get to.
Okay.
Yeah,
Should we talk about the villain?
I guess we should. What did you think of this
Character?
whole everything? This red herring, the fact that there's the guy Ludendorff who she thinks is him, the Dr. Poison character, all this stuff. What did you think of all of that?
I mean, they were all just super. I want to rule the world, cause why not, right? I mean, they were super generic, nothing special. I wasn't expecting this movie to have a great hero or anything, right? So I mean, yeah, I didn't go to this movie to see a hero or a villain, right?
Yeah.
And so I was just like, yeah, he serves his purpose, put him up against Wonder Woman. But I mean, I did like it was a nice little twist there at the end, where it turns out that dude. But that was also super cliche too, right? Like, oh, I've never seen that one before.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know. He's just kind of bland. Whatever to me. So
Yeah, I enjoyed the red herring because the whole time she was fighting the Ludendorff guy, I was like, are you serious? This is it? No.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
not it. No. Like, this is so shallow. The whole time I was going, why is this the finale? This can't be the finale.
yeah.
Because, yeah, it would have sucked if he was the real villain. So I was glad that they did that, but that said, it was still a little bit predictable.
Sure.
I didn't expect it to be the Lupin guy, but in hindsight,
No.
I probably should have. Although, I feel like it wasn't like that smart of a twist, right? Like,
no.
a truly smart twist is one that you can go, oh yeah, that was set up ahead of time and I didn't notice, right?
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
when I rewatch the film, I can go, oh, now I see how that was playing out, right? And I wasn't realizing it the first time. This didn't really have any of that, as far as I can tell. It was just, oh yeah, it's him.
Like he's that chap.
He tells them not to go into the battle, but that's a perfectly characteristic thing for anyone to do. So, it didn't. That's yeah,
I agree.
And then it seems like he's a pretty nice and good guy in that main, chamber of whatever, where all the government people are talking. So I didn't really think there was much of a setup for it.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, and you can argue, like, oh, he's been behind it this whole time. Who gave him the money to do this?
Yeah.
I guess his intent was to get Wonder Woman to him, right? And then conquer the world, basically, right?
Well, in which, Yeah,
I mean, I guess you could have done that.
That is a thing to think about, is the fact that he funded their thing. He helped them go and was like, I'll help you. But why would he do that? Like...
Doesn't make sense, no.
I guess he wanted Wonder Woman to see the war and see how it sucked, and then maybe she would join him or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I guess? I don't know. But she did save people, which I don't think he would have liked. So,
no.
Yeah. But, it is kind of hilarious also that the villain Ludendorff she dances with him, and then he talks about the Greek gods, and he's like, Ares is great. I love Ares. Ares is awesome. You don't know what you're talking about. And then he's not Ares.
Yeah.
He just happens to have a really good knowledge of the Greek gods also, right?
Oh, boy. Was it that, like... Yeah, that was throwing me off, too. Because, like, okay, that's not Ares. But, like, so he's just this really evil, weird dude. Is Ares possessing
Right, and he's
him?
also doing the whole poison gas thing where he's sniffing it in and he's glowing and stuff. And that's obviously it's supposed to make you go, oh, he's glowing, so he must be a god, right?
Yeah.
But then that goes nowhere, and it doesn't have a purpose other than just to trick you,
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of dumb. It would have made more sense for it to trick you into thinking that he was a god, but then it has a different purpose, and that's part of the other twist or something, right?
Yeah. It was just very out of place.
Really out of place. And again, it reminds you of the Red Skull stuff, where Red Skull was a Nazi villain who was a German villain who was working with a mad scientist to develop weapons that he could use against the Americans. And at one part in the movie, he uses that weapon to kill members of his own party that disagree with him. Right? Literally the exact same. Oh my gosh.
That's really annoying.
Yeah, it was. And then there's the Dr. Poison character, right?
Yeah.
She's a character.
I mean, why is her face all burned? I don't know.
It's because it's in the comic books. Who's to say?
Yeah. Exactly. No, yeah. I mean, the villains, they're super just whatever.
Well, and again, this is it's hilarious because it really does seem that it's so hard to have a movie that has a good hero and a good villain, And up to now, Marvel has been the ones that have good heroes. They focus on their heroes, and the villains are a side part, and they're just the catalyst to make the heroes do stuff.
Yeah.
And for them, that often works fine. Even though I wish that you could have both, and in some cases they have. Like Avengers has both a good villain and good heroes.
Sure.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 has both a good villain and good heroes. But for the most part, it seems that it's a trade-off because DC usually has great villains, but now they decided to do a great hero, and now the villain sucks, right? So it's like this lose-lose situation. And I wish that he was better, but that said, I don't think he ruins the movie.
No, definitely not. Just because Wonder Woman she's such a great character.
Yeah.
And she's done so well.
And again, it's just like a Marvel movie. Like, Marvel has crappy villains all the time, but they don't really ruin their movies.
Focus on the hero rather than the villain.
Right.
The villains.
And I think that's definitely going to be a better approach. Like, I would always much rather have a film that focuses on the hero than a film that focuses on a good villain, right?
Yeah.
I think that's almost always going to be the case with almost any film,
Yeah. Especially these big summer blockbusters, right?
Right.
They're not setting out to be like if it's any other movie, You know, you want to have a good balance of both, right?
Yeah.
But this, I mean, you're going to see it for a good action movie, right?
Probably.
You want to see Wonder Woman kick some butt, you know? So, I mean,
Yeah.
for me, it doesn't bother me that the villain wasn't that great. I mean, I think he could have been better
Yeah.
for a summer blockbuster, but for this, I mean, it's just fine, you know?
What did you think of Ares? We've talked about Ludendorff and all that, but what did you think of Ares himself and his sort of motivation and everything? And did it make sense, right?
Oh, what was his, what was
Exactly. Yeah.
Was it like I want to rebuild Krypton on this Earth?
He does show
I'm
her
gonna-
a vision of a better
Yeah.
Earth, just like in Man
Uh-huh.
of Steel, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, did he have motivation other than I want to rule the world? I didn't take anything away from him. I just thought he was there to.
I think the
rule the
idea
world.
was that he thought humans sucked, and so he wanted to show Diana that they sucked.
Yeah.
And that they should just be destroyed, and that it should just be gods on Earth, and they should just rule it and stuff.
Yeah.
And Diana starts out the film by thinking that humans are all good, right? That
Yeah.
it's not the humans, it's Ares. We just need to kill Ares, and then humans will be all perfect, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is it really is a good Christianity metaphor as well, because it's the same case with Satan, you know, to where, you know, it's like, yes, you could say that killing Satan or Ares would be good, but neither of them are the cause of everything, right? And he says that himself. He says that I don't make anyone do anything. I whisper things in people's ears, which is exactly what Satan does.
I did like that. How
And
that
I
ties in,
influence them, and I give them ideas like sinful thoughts and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I don't make them do anything. That's of their own accord. And so it's these two opposing ideologies of like, she thinks humans are all good, he thinks humans are all bad and should be destroyed. Turns out it's somewhere in the middle, right?
Yeah.
And that, and that it's somewhere in the middle. And I liked that sort of bothum
Definitely, I
of
agree.
both things going on at the same time, both and.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you do wonder, what does killing Ares accomplish, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
the
that's a good
war
point. Mhm.
ended after he was dead. Like, we see her in Trafalgar Square, and
Yeah.
everyone's got flags and they're waving them, so the war's over, right? But was that because she killed him, or was that because because the Howling Commandos guys and Steve Trevor saved stuff and did things,
Yeah,
right?
and they blew up the plane, which, I mean, the Germans lost hope. Once the
I mean,
plane was
obviously,
blown up.
in both situations, it's not the truth because this actually happened in history.
Yeah, that's another thing. You're basically like trying to twist history, which is like,
Right.
that's odd.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I guess the idea was that maybe his influence is gone. Maybe he kind of caused World War I, but he didn't cause all wars because obviously
Yeah.
wars still happen after that.
Yeah.
See, yeah.
It's just odd. He was.
Yeah. Again,
He's very
I really
black.
liked the idea of him that he's doing this stuff, and I liked the lie that she was believing of, oh, well,
Yeah.
if we just kill him, things will be all good, and the
Yeah.
fact that wasn't true.
Yeah.
And I like seeing a character believe a lie and then come around because that's a bold stroke for a movie.
It's a good
Usually,
character
they're like,
development
"Yes,
right
it's
there,
just all
yeah.
good," and they never believe lies. That's a
Yeah.
lie, right?
Yeah. It's a good arc.
So yeah, it was a good arc. It was just that him as a, you know, killing him didn't make sense. Why was it necessary? What,
No.
you know, I guess it was just necessary to kill him because he was causing so much destruction. And
Yeah. Yeah, well,
he was a bad guy.
Leading up to it, that's why she wanted to kill him, because she's like, oh, we kill him, make
Right.
everything better, right? So that was her motivation up till he told her.
right,
And then I thought it was, what I got was, you know, he showed her the vision of, we can wipe out the human race and we can make this world perfect, right?
right,
Like how it's supposed to be. And then she's like...
An Eden, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when she sees, like, no, humans, they're good, but they're also bad. That's when she finds that they're actually in the middle, in between both of their beliefs.
Yeah.
And then she decides to side with them, and she's like, "I'm gonna kill you, so you don't do that."
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure he could have done it without her help, right?
I think he said he needed her.
Did he need her, or did he just need her?
I don't know. It was kind of a similar thing to Guardians Volume 2, I think, where he was like,
Yeah?
we need 2 Celestials to kill everybody, right?
Yeah, and if you don't obey me, I'm gonna trap you with my tentacles.
And humans suck, and we should destroy them because it's all us, right? It actually was remarkably similar to Guardians in some ways as well. And obviously that wasn't intentional because they were made at the same time.
No.
But, yeah, I did find that to be a little bit odd, but I liked how it was resolved, and I liked, again, the dilemma that she believed. I also liked the moment where it's the power of love, right? I'll always go for the power of love. Like, some people go, oh, that's cheesy. Any movie that says love is the greatest power of all, I believe you. I want to believe you. Right?
Exactly.
And I like that was the resolution, was that she had the opportunity to kill the Dr. Poison character, but she didn't.
Yeah.
Although then again, she did just kill Ares, right?
Wait, did she kill the Dr. Poison, though?
No.
She didn't.
No.
But we'd never see Dr. Poison.
She holds up a tank to smash her, and then she lets her go.
Dr. Poison starts to run away, and then she throws the tank. So did she throw the tank on top of her?
No. She was, like, casting it aside.
Did she, though?
Yeah, 100%.
It didn't look like that to me. It looked like she might have hit.
Yeah, because that was the big dramatic moment, was the fact that he's tempting her to do it,
but then,
like Satan.
Then we never see Dr. Poison again.
Yeah, I guess she escaped. I guess she just ran out a window.
Yeah, but it would have been nice if we show her to at least know for sure, like, oh, she didn't kill her. Yeah. Because right now I'm just like, she just threw the tank aside. What happened? Yeah. Like what? Like, I don't know.
I just thought it was implied.
Yeah.
And I like that bit also, like right before that, where she just rampages through soldiers and murders them all, and it's like she's following his, she's believing his lie and following it. And he's like, yes, Anakin, yeah, good, Anakin, good,
Anakin, good.
So I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I thought there was something else I was thinking of, and I don't remember what it was. It was basically just the idea that there is a great theme of using love to save the world and being self-sacrificial and stuff in this movie and not requiring violence to do everything. Sure. But yet in the end, she still does beat him using brute force, not the power of love or anything, right? So
what you wanted to,
I felt that was a little bit self-contradictory,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what else you could have done. Maybe she has to sacrifice herself.
She just gives him a good old hug, and good old hug, around,
right? Yeah. I was thinking about that throughout the movie. I was like, what if they went that direction of like,
oh boy,
the whole villain gets redeemed, hold out my hand, we'll be friends now thing. Yeah. But I thought that would be too lame and too sappy, and I don't know what else you could have done.
No,
my other idea though was that would it have worked to have Ares not even exist and just have him be a concept? The fact that they just have War be the villain, right? Have it be that no, Ares isn't even a person. It's just War is Ares, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like there was something I was thinking about. I don't remember what it was, but something I was thinking about where it's like, I guess I was just thinking about my critical thinking paper, actually. Not even a movie. In my critical thinking paper, I'm a Christian, if you can't tell, so this is a sort of Christian metaphor. I was talking about how God is good. The Bible says that God is good, right?
Yeah.
And so with that logic, I believe that all goodness is from God, right? And that anytime you feel anything good, and anytime there is true goodness and purity in a place or in a person or anything, that comes from God, and that is God, basically. And I think it would have been an interesting route to go with Ares, to have that be the opposite, vice versa case with him. Anything bad, anything war related, any war is him, Okay. It's not that he's causing it, it's just that it is him, and he's a concept, right? And that maybe in the end, to resolve things, she just has to fight war and try to make peace.
Yeah. He can't be stopped, basically.
Right. Maybe that's the resolution. He can't be stopped, but
That's the
she
only
can
way.
fight him forever and make
Uh-huh.
peace.
That could go turn around like with the whole love thing.
Right.
That, I mean, it's the only way that war is going to be vanquished is if humans all love each other.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that would tie in perfectly. Yeah, that'd be cool. That would have been nice to see. I agree.
Yeah. And I think they scratched at that a little bit.
Yeah.
For much of the film, I do feel like War is kind of the villain, not just Ares.
Maybe somewhat with when she killed the general or whatever, and nothing changed, right?
Right.
It's like, oh, Ares is dead, but they're still fighting, you know?
Yeah.
Which if they had left that, like, I almost wanted to leave it at that.
Yeah,
know?
I did too.
I was like, when she killed the dude on the rooftop, and they were implying that was Ares, I'm like, okay, that's bold, you know?
Right, exactly.
It's
I
not
think
a big
it could
final
have been such an
showdown.
intriguing and bold twist to have
like
it be
right when that
nothing's
happened,
going to
I'm
happen
like,
if you kill him, or that he
Yeah.
doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And that
Or
she
that
has
he's
to
not
figure out a
this some
completely different
huge-
approach.
some huge boss that you have to, like, this big
Right.
showdown.
This big
You know, it was
doomsday
just-
battle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was just this little, I mean, she gains the upper hand and kills him.
Right.
Like that. I was like, wow, that's...
And
I kind of like that, you know, and I wish they had left it at that, and then she has to go on.
she
to defeat
does
the plane,
change
you
her
know?
tactics after that. You know, like it's her heart does change. Like in the beginning, she thinks that she has to just kill this one guy and then all the war will stop. And then she realizes, no, it's not going to work that way. And
Yeah.
also that, you know, humans are good and bad and all this stuff. But in the end, it ends up being a similar story beat, and it feels the same. Of even though there was all this complicated, really good, deep stuff with that stuff. In the end, it does just end the same way as the previous fight, where she just kills the guy she believes to be Ares. Right.
Sure.
So it doesn't change that much. It doesn't
No,
feel that
it
different.
doesn't.
Despite the different intentions that she has.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to think about that, because it works if you think about it, but it just doesn't work in a story beat perspective.
Yeah.
I don't think, because it just
Yeah.
feels like the same active motion of killing Ares as she did before. Whereas
Sure.
I think it would have been more bold to do something completely different in her approach, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we really explored that concept, didn't we? We really went into it.
nitpicking Wonder Woman right there.
And you know, I mean, it's a good thing that we're talking about this. I think
Yeah.
that any movie that sort of promotes talking about things is
Oh yeah.
really interesting.
Definitely.
It was the same way with Guardians Volume 2 and with Logan. Both of those films sparked some really interesting conversations between me and some
Yeah.
people. And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I was having a conversation with somebody the other day who believed that Guardians of the Galaxy was anti-religion, right? Because ego is God and God is evil and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
But I was making the case that it was actually pro-religion, because ego is just Satan, and you know, he's telling lies and
Yeah,
must
he's
be
deceiving.
stopped. You know, deceiving people and making people believe that he is God when he's not.
Yeah.
But that's a topic for another day, maybe another
yeah.
video
Oh,
essay,
yeah.
if you will.
Oh yeah. More to come.
And for those who are atheists, there have certainly been quite a bit of Christian name drops in this video, in this podcast.
That's what we do here, okay? Live with it. Gosh.
Because we're just such sheltered homeschoolers, right? Right, man?
Definitely.
What else should we talk about? Should we talk about the effects and the action, I think?
Okay.
What did you think of the action in general?
For the most part, I really liked it. You know,
Yeah.
I loved the scene that whole sequence when she first storms the Germans, you know, out of
Yes.
the trenches, you
Yeah.
know, and she's using her whip and her sword and
Yeah.
shield and all that. I loved that. That was really cool. And I did feel like at least almost every action scene you had at least 2 slow-mo shots, you know, and I felt like, you're pushing it. You're pushing it. It didn't go over. It wasn't like too much. It was just like, ooh, that's
It wasn't Batman v Superman.
No. It got a little bit old at the end, the slow motion, but you know, it was good, it served its purpose, and one of the things I really liked in that first fight when they stormed the town is, you know, in the opening scene where the Germans come to Themyscirus
Yeah.
or whatever, he sees one of the what do you call him? One of the soldiers or whatever, one of the Amazons, you know, shield, right? And the other Amazon jumps off the shield and goes in the air, right? the
Oh, yeah, and then
commander,
they do
right?
the similar
And then they
thing.
do the same thing.
Didn't
He
notice that.
Shield,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. That's a little cool payoff they got there. You know, he sees that happen, and he's like, oh, she knows what to do, right?
Yeah.
He just does it. That was cool. I like that. But yeah, I mean, it was. I love the effect of the whip. I thought that was probably
That looked
one of
great.
the best.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when she's on like the rooftop at the end, battling the general or whatever.
Yeah.
She's swinging her around. You know, it looks great. So I thought it was really good. It was fun action summer blockbuster. So
Yeah.
good stuff. Yeah.
I feel about the same. The
Uh-huh.
battlefield scene was by far my favorite, where she,
Yeah.
storms the battlefield and she saves the town and everything. That was by far the best. And I love, again, the motivation behind that scene of her not taking no for an answer. Steve Trevor is used to this world of, oh, well, we can't help everybody. And she's like, well, why not? Let's help everybody, right? And I love that so much.
Yeah.
And obviously she does grow and mature to realize some more realistic aspects of the world and things where you can help everybody. But she also maintains that level of pure heroism and want to help everyone. And I loved that. And I loved that scene and what she did and the message behind it, that she can just do those things. And it was really inspirational. And of course, she's deflecting all the bullets with her shield, and all the other soldiers are like, "Let's go!" Right?
Yeah.
Really
cool.
good. And then they
That's
storm
cool.
the town and stuff. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think what the other scenes were.
We got that infamous DC CGI battle at the end.
Right. I'm trying to save that for last.
Okay.
The
I'm sorry.
Themyscira battle. Yeah, you should be sorry, Hitchcock.
sorry.
Jeez. Jeez. the Themyscira battle,
It was fine.
it was fine. I thought the CGI was pretty spotty in that scene. On many of the warriors on horses doing flippy flips and stuff, it looked like a video game.
Slow motion.
And also the scene where the bullet goes past her head in slow-mo and hits the woman swinging behind her. I thought that was her aunt at first. And then her aunt gets killed the next time. And I was like, oh, so that's her aunt. Because all of these warriors are dressed the exact same way. And her mother even looks exactly like her aunt, which I guess is good casting, but also really confusing at times. You know?
Yeah, good point. It did throw me off, but because we saw that shot in the trailer.
Yeah.
So
So
I was
you
like,
assumed
yep.
that it probably wouldn't be
Been
someone
there, done
significant.
that. Seen that.
Yeah.
So.
I did enjoy the soldiers sort of peeking through the force field, the shield and stuff, and then realizing what was on the other side.
cool.
That was fun. But yeah, so there was that, and then there was the battle in the. There were a few little scuffles, I guess. There's the one in the alleyway that's pretty fun. There was the one in the town where she, which is after the battlefield thing, that kind of flows into that. Okay, people are stomping around. Okay, stop stomping.
I gotta let my dog out real quick. Too.
Okay, do that. Oi! What are you doing? Are you slamming doors? Yo!
All right, there we go. You there?
Okay, I don't know what's going on.
Oh,
By the
boy.
way, I love my sister. I just get very...
yeah,
I have to raise my voice to be able to...
Yeah, right.
She can't hear me otherwise, I swear. Yeah. But in terms of action, I actually did feel like, until the third act, the film was remarkably restrained.
Yeah, held to a minimum. I agree.
And it really did put the focus on some of the more character-driven stuff, which I loved. I thought all of the scenes between her and Steve were remarkable. The scene in the boat is nice, where he comes and sleeps with her. And they have that... It was kind of forced, dumb comedy about sex, and it's funny
I felt it
sex.
dragged a little bit.
Right, yeah.
You know, it was like, you're stressing
Went
it.
on for a little too long. And also her knowledge of things seems to be a little inconsistent, right? Like, she knows what sex is, but she doesn't know what marriage is.
Yeah.
And, like, she knows all these languages, but she doesn't know all these different things about humanity. Like, how would you learn a language, right? Without knowing things about humans, about humanity.
Good point.
Who invented those languages.
Good point. Good point.
But anyway, it was still fun.
It's
And I
fine,
really loved
yeah.
her being able to speak different languages.
Yeah,
That was
cool.
nice.
Yeah.
And the bit where she talks to the lady who speaks the different language in the trench
Yeah.
was such a great moment of the wise part of Wonder Woman, the smart part of Wonder Woman. And that's kind of the fact that being able to speak a
Listening
different language allows you to listen to other people and allows you to be a hero in your own way.
Take notes, Superman.
Yeah, Superman, take notes. And then I loved as well, total tangent, but I loved as well the scene where she and Steve dance in the snow.
Yeah.
In that village. It felt very warm and charming, and it felt like something that was really valuing some of the classier, more family-related aspects of humanity and the world and life. You know, almost like Logan in a way. Nowhere near as good, but almost like Logan in showing us, like when he goes to the black family's house in the country, right, and sees their love for each other and sees that family and stuff, and how she gets to see that in those villagers and
and
see what
that
a
makes...
couple looks like and what marriage looks like and what a village of people dancing looks like, you know.
Yeah, that makes Steve's death at the end all the more emotional.
Yeah,
know?
and she sees snow for the first time too. I like that. That was a nice little moment,
cool.
and her experiencing different things, like the ice cream bit was great.
Yeah.
And the she's like, "You should be so proud of yourself." And the bit where she sees the baby or whatever.
It's a baby.
It's a baby, because she hasn't seen a baby before, I guess. So I really enjoyed all of those.
Yeah, that's the
subtle
whole
touches.
fish out of the water that they did
Right.
really well.
Right.
Which I enjoyed. So.
So yeah, that was good. But back to the action stuff. That was a tangent. As I said, there wasn't a ton of action, but when there was, it was good for the most part, except for the final battle scene. And
Wow.
I don't know what Warner Brothers' deal is. Like, it's not even just DC films. It's like Warner Brothers in general has had this issue in many of their most recent films where they give you a very intimate and grounded and likable story for the first two acts, and you like it a lot. And then the third act, they go crazy with a CGI punch fest, right? They did it with King Arthur. King Arthur is the same way. And I actually, I enjoyed King Arthur a little bit. We'll get into that.
Okay, cool.
But it was the same way in that third act. And then they did it with Man of Steel, obviously. They did it with Batman v Superman with Doomsday, which is, I think, kills that movie, you know.
Yeah.
This doesn't kill the movie nearly as much as Doomsday did, but, you know. And then also, they did it with, I'm trying to think of others, they did it with, like, Fantastic Beasts had a similar thing.
Yeah.
Where it was very grounded, and then he fights a big old CGI cloud monster at the end, right?
Yeah. Oh, man, that's so weird.
So it is weird. It's really weird, the level at which they are dedicated to this idea of there needs to be a big CGI monster at the end so people can punch people, right?
Yeah. Jeez.
And I thought the effects were, to say the least, spotty in that last action sequence. You know, he looked terrible. Ares looked terrible.
He did.
They made his eyes bigger for some reason. Did you notice that?
Did they?
Like in The Mask, his eyes were like suddenly like bulging, like big, like a cartoon character or something. And I don't know why. I guess because he's a god or something. And then there's like the cliche, he's going to shoot a bolt of lightning, burst of energy at her, and she's going to absorb it. And
Yoda
he's going to throw some stuff, and there's going to be, you know, particles of metal in the air that fly towards people, like Magneto and whatever, right? And his powers also varied. Like, he had lightning powers, kind of like Zeus.
Yeah.
But then he had, like, fire-ish powers. I mean, he could sort of fly-ish, too.
He could make armor.
Yeah, create armor, exactly. And obviously manipulate metal, which is what he made the armor out of.
Yeah.
And then there was the fact that DC really, some of their effects are really good, but the thing that they make a sort of mistake on in a lot of their movies is, for some reason, they're really bad at transitioning between real footage and CG characters, right? So, with any movie you do this. Like when a character flies, you have your actor jump, and then in midair, you turn them into a CGI character, and that's what the flying thing is, right? And then you remove the them landing back down on the ground. But with DC movies, especially in BVS and in this, it's this weird thing of like cameras flying through 3D spaces, right? And seeing like CGI people punching each other. And then like it slows down for a second and you rein it in and you see like the character bump into a building or something or like crash down and they're real. They're a real actor again. And then they like jump forward and they're CGI again and then it goes back to the CGI 3D, CGI everything, right?
You're thinking of that Wonder Woman shot in BVS when she gets knocked back against the wall.
It's exactly stuff like that. Yes.
And she jumps right back into it. Yeah,
exactly. And you can tell that they shot that shot with Gal Gadot just
being thrown
leaning against a wall. Like getting thrown like 1 foot or so, right? And just leaning back against a wall, not actually being thrown so many feet, which obviously is hard to do, obviously. But I just think the effects could be better on that.
Oh, yeah. It's very out of place and sloppy at times.
And I'm not the technical expert on special effects, so I don't know a better solution.
Sure.
But I do know that Marvel doesn't seem to have that problem as much. And most movies don't seem to have that problem like DC does. So it's an interesting...
Fix yourself, DC. Come on. What
right?
are you doing?
And you see it a lot with stuff where like the bit like where she jumps on the shield and stuff where she's real. I mean, you can clearly see the moment where she suddenly becomes CG, right?
Or when at the very end when she jumps away, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's
CG,
not
real.
It's not that she looks like CGI. It's not like it's like bad CGI and it doesn't look like a human. It's just that you can see the transition. You can tell the movement or the weight of the character feels off, right?
Yeah,
it suddenly
good
becomes more
CG
lightweight or something.
You can't tell it, right? So,
right. Yeah.
It's a little mistake.
So that was that. I thought the final battle was pretty dumb. It was reminded me of the Doomsday battle quite a bit. And just felt very forced in. And thematically, again, I didn't feel like it needed to happen. There should have been a more smart solution. But I don't think it killed the movie. So that's what I would say.
I think we just need to come to the fact that every DC movie is going to have a big CGI battle at the end.
Like Justice League probably will.
Honestly, Justice League will have it. I guarantee it. BVS had it. Man of Steel had it somewhat, you know, with Zod and all that.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad had it, you know. I mean, like Wonder Woman, it doesn't ruin it, you know. BVS, it ruined it a bit more.
Because there was such lack in character and writing to begin with that it makes you go, oh, great, here we go. And then you're like, okay, I'm done. But with this, you're like, all right, this sucks, but I can kind of live with it at least because the rest is so well written and good, you know.
We need to go into Justice League expecting to see a big, messy
I hope not.
battle
I hope to God not.
Oh, you know it's coming. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but it's gonna come. I'm hoping. I mean, we can hope that leading up to it is gonna be great, like this, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, we got a big sloppy battle at the end, but it was still great.
Again, I always hope with these things that that they do something smart to defeat their villain, right? Like that's what I've been saying about Infinity War for so long. Is that I hope it's not just a big CGI Thanos and the Avengers all punch him, and in X-Men Apocalypse, they all use their different energies. Like Magneto uses his magnet right. Magneto uses his magnet powers and he's all convulging on him, and then she uses her Phoenix powers, and he uses his blah 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 powers. And it's just like, just use all your powers and we can kill him together. Fantastic Four does the same thing. Together we can stop him if we all just combine our powers. That's dumb. That's really dumb. And I've seen
Rangers.
it. Exactly. Mighty Morphin time. I've seen it a million times. I want to see a villain who is outsmarted. And that's why I love Doctor Strange. Because he outsmarts the villain. He doesn't outpunch him. Right?
Yeah. Oh, so good. So good.
So that's, Doctor Strange is kind of a subpar movie, but I really, really like that factor.
It's great. I love Doctor Strange.
You really have suddenly come around on it, haven't you?
I love it, man. It's great.
Yeah. Is that all we have to say about Wonder Woman?
That's all I got to say on Wonder Woman.
Me too. I think we gave it a good discussion. I think we gave it some good points.
Hour and a half? Hour and 20 minutes.
Gee whiz. Oh, wow. Okay, this is going to be a long episode, man.
I told you, man. We got stuff to talk about.
So I guess now we'll get into news. We'll get into the next segment
we gotta
of the
rate
show.
it. We gotta rate it out of 22.
Oh, yes.
What do you give it? I think I'm going to 18.
Yeah.
17.5.
I'd go 17.5 or so.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know what that is out of 10.
No.
And I'm not going to tell you what I rated out of 10 because that would break the illusion of the show.
It would.
Even though I know
But yeah,
perfectly well what I
overall,
rated.
it's DC's best movie so far.
Absolutely, and it wasn't a
It
wasn't a high
standard.
bar set,
Uh-huh.
but it beat it for sure. So that's
It got it rolling. Hopefully they're able to keep it rolling. you
Yeah.
know? Keep it
I'm
going.
interested to see if DC fans like this movie because
Yeah.
it's a Marvel movie. I mean, honestly, it
Uh-huh.
really is. It's the most Marvel-y a movie that DC has done.
It is shot better though.
It is
It's
shot better. It's got better
the
color grading. I was
grading
noticing
was
that.
Good. It was real good.
And yeah, like even in the grayer locations like the war, it still looks really good.
It does.
I did notice that.
That scene where they dance together, I thought that was shot really well. And
Yeah.
the color grading, especially with like the black.
Oh yeah, it did
and the
look great,
white
didn't
snow.
it? Yeah.
You know, like that's solid black right there. you
See,
know?
but the thing that makes me wonder is I go like, DC fans really love Batman v Superman and Man of Steel, but this film isn't like either of those films very much
No.
at all. So are they gonna like it?
Yeah,
and-
I don't know.
The correct answer is many of them will because there are lots of blind fanboys who will just love anything that they do out there and will say,
Shots
"Oh, it's got Wonder Woman in it, so
fired.
it's great. It's got Wonder Woman, so it's great." Right?
Uh-huh.
That will be a lot of people. But for the people who really like Batman v Superman and the people who aren't blind fans, which there are a good amount of, Jacob Suggs obviously,
Yeah.
it makes me go, huh, because the reason that lots of fans claim to like Batman v Superman and claim to like Man of Steel is because they're so ambitious and because they're
Yeah.
so brilliant and they're masterpieces and they're so emotional and blah, 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 you know. But this film doesn't have those aspirations.
No.
It's not trying to be
No,
brilliant or a
it's
masterpiece.
formulaic, It's generic.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would be I'm confused and fascinated to see how the reaction is turning out, and obviously it's quite good so far. But yeah, that was a
Time
random
will tell.
observation.
Time will tell.
Yeah. So, shall we get into news? The first bit of news is
boy.
quite related to this film, actually,
Yes. Let's do it.
which was that the Wonder Woman 2 movie has already been announced as of today, and Patty Jenkins, the director of this film, will be directing it.
Yeah. Good
Um,
stuff.
It will be set in the modern day. That's been
I
confirmed.
like it.
Um,
I don't know how they'll do that because AK-47s versus a shield
Ah!
and sword don't do too well. So
yeah, I guess Wonder Woman's evolved as well. Batman probably equips her
Let's
with a
hope.
nicer shield, right?
maybe. Has he gone Tony Stark on all the Avengers?
I think he has. I think that's the idea. He's upgraded all of them.
Yeah.
Because in a way, Batman is the new Tony Stark, apparently,
Yes.
right? It is interesting because it would have been quite a fascinating thing to see the Wonder Woman movies or even the Wonder Woman trilogy or whatever be a series of historical events instead of
Yeah.
her in the past than her in the present, right?
Yeah,
That could have been
sure.
interesting to see different stories from her past because obviously she's had a long past and seen lots of different things. But on the other hand, it will be cool to see her in the modern day, see what she does.
Dude, what if Wonder Woman 2 is the next Winter Soldier?
I was thinking that, right? It's the same thing. First movie's in the past and then the next movie's in the present,
if?
right? Yeah.
I would not mind that if we got a great movie.
Yeah.
You know? That'd
Could be cool. And this
I mean,
film
what-
was actually remarkably similar to Winter Soldier. The first film was in some of the themes and ideas. In that she, like Steve Rogers, is a character that sees the world as black and white,
Sure.
good guys and bad guys, and then comes around to realize that it's mostly gray. You know,
Yeah.
much like Steve Rogers does. Although I feel like in this, she still remains a little more black and white than he does.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But
Okay.
yeah. But so the sequel sounds interesting. I would love to.
Yeah.
I am hyped to see it, and I'm glad Patty Jenkins is doing it. And I think that Warner Brothers is taking a hint and realizing that if they just give a director a vision, if they're not Zack Snyder, then maybe they will.
Oh.
You know.
Don't roast an old Zach. Come
Yeah.
on.
Okay. Look. Okay, we'll get to that news in a minute.
Come on, man.
Yeah, man. It sucks, but okay, I guess we'll talk about this now. Yeah. So we haven't podcasted since the news that Zack Snyder is going to be stepping down from Justice League for the rest of the production, because his daughter committed suicide, which is just appalling.
Terrible.
It's horrifying.
It's terrible.
And like, you know, obviously we make so many jokes about Zack Snyder on this podcast, and
On this show.
And I'm not gonna like withhold those jokes forever, because just because a tragedy happens to someone,
So
it doesn't
mean.
mean that they're immune to criticism in any way, right?
Uh-huh.
But that said, it is really a terrible thing, and I tweeted several things recently about how it really required a lot of courage on his part and humility to realize that he
wasn't
needed
fit
to step
finish.
down,
Yeah.
that he was emotionally not in a place where he could complete this film, you know?
Oh yeah.
And to realize that he needed to step down. And, like, imagine that, because he's such a passionate creator.
Yeah,
and
you can tell he loves.
You can
he
tell.
loves
And even
these
if they're not
movies.
good, he's so passionate about his movies.
Yeah.
And so you really imagine being him and then giving your baby to this other director who did this more successful superhero movie called The Avengers, right?
Yeah.
That's got to really suck, you know?
I bet. Yeah.
And I'm sure he's making the best out of it, but that's got to really suck. So props to him. I mean, I really admire him for having that much humility to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, I feel like enough time has passed, though, that we can talk about this and not have to be, like, in mourning throughout this entire thing. And because of that, I think we should talk about the whole Joss Whedon thing with this movie, right? Because it's a big deal that
It is.
Joss Whedon is now being brought on to do reshoots on the film, and to, I guess, be involved in the post-production process and do the editing and everything.
Which is, like, when you think about it, it's a bit scary, right? Because, you know, Age of Ultron is so different from BVS.
Right.
Know? Joss Whedon and Zack Snyder, they're so different, you know, just the way they do
Although at the
things.
same time, I do feel like BVS has the same, or Age of Ultron has many of the same problems as BVS.
Okay,
actually.
Yeah, sure. Sure, but it looks just like the tone-wise, you know. And
Yeah.
that might be the studio.
Right.
But whatever. But it'll I'm hoping, because they did announce they're doing some reshoots, so I'm sure Joss Whedon's behind some of those, and he'll be involved in the editing process, like you said.
I
And so
think
I'm hoping
this-
it's not like the.
Go
I'm
ahead.
hoping it's not like dramatic shifts, like, oh, Zack Snyder did that, Joss Whedon did that. You can totally tell. I hope it flows smooth, you know.
I feel like this could go really well or really poorly. On the poorly side, it could end up being a total mess. They switch the directors halfway through because of a tragedy that happened, and now the vision is totally messed up. And you know, it's just a mess
And
of...
it wasn't halfway through.
Right.
It was like 3/4.
Yeah. But so it could go that way. And it also could go the direction that Joss Whedon does bring something good to the table, but the studio wants to boss him around. And like I just said with Age of Ultron, Joss Whedon is an amazing director. But the reason that Age of Ultron sucks so bad is that Marvel was really so interfering in that film. More than any of their other films, that's the film that I feel like they interfered so much with his vision. And so, yeah, I feel like the same thing could happen with Justice League, because DC has been known to interfere with things, right?
Yeah.
Like Suicide Squad. But at the same time, Joss Whedon is an amazing director. If they give him creative control and if they trust him, because I think maybe they have learned to trust the directors a little bit more with Patty Jenkins.
And he has been brought on to their panel, right? He's doing a Batgirl.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So
so obviously
he's
they
already
have some
part of
trust
it.
for him already.
Yeah.
That could be amazing, and his reshoots could be amazing. And, you know, the editing process of a film is so instrumental in making the film what it is. We've seen that with Suicide Squad, right? And with BVS, where Suicide Squad was ruined by the editing company that did it, which was a trailer company, right? And that's just moronic for them to do that, to choose that option. And then BVS also, I don't think the ultimate cut of the film is that much better, but it is better.
It is
and
somewhat, yeah.
I do think that the editing process of that film as well did ruin some of the elements of it for the theatrical cut. So obviously the editing process of a film is huge, and having Joss Whedon there just to edit the film and be in there in the post-production process is a big deal to begin with. So yeah, I'm curious to say the least and optimistic to say the most.
Same.
So
I'm hopeful. I'm hoping it's gonna be good, especially after seeing Wonder Woman today.
Yeah.
You know, which they're done shooting this film, or they're almost done.
Almost.
Doing through
Please have learned something from Wonder Woman. Warner Brothers, please learn
I
something. Don't
keep
doing what you're doing, right?
Yeah, I don't know if we'll see a whole. I mean, because they've practically finished the film, I don't know what they can do after the reaction from Wonder Woman, right?
Yeah.
But I think definitely for the future films, they can learn from Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
You know, so I think we'll see that in the future films, hopefully.
If anything, I think what differentiates Wonder Woman in many ways is the fact that it's not even the fact that it's hopeful. I think it's the fact that, well, it does have something to do with the hopefulness. It's the fact that there are scenes with characters who talk to one another like humans, right? Like BVS has so many monologues and so many dark, grim conversations, and even the stuff with Lois and Clark is so just weighed down, and it's so my burden, right? And Zack Snyder's trying to do Shakespeare stuff, right? But Wonder Woman, you feel the authenticity, and you feel the genuine human conversations that don't feel like they're just plot. They're just talking about the plot, and they're talking about how the plot is such a big deal, right? They're just talking about human things, like the scene, which I loved so much. Might even be my favorite scene in the movie, where they danced in the snow, and where she talked about the beauty of this town and the villagers and their communion as family and stuff. And that is what I feel like DC films have been lacking for the most part.
Genuine conversation.
And obviously Suicide Squad tried to have that with their bar scene, but that was so forced, and they were clearly
I'm beautiful inside and out.
Clearly just trying to make that the Guardians of the Galaxy scene, the 12% scene, right? Trying to make it that. But with this is the first film that has felt so genuine and so human and so authentic, and I think that's what they've been missing. And I hope that Warner Brothers takes that hint and makes them more genuine like that.
We're somehow still on Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened, but yeah.
All right. Only a couple more bits of news. Yeah. So also announced recently was the Dark Universe. You heard about this, right?
Sure.
I don't know if we talked about this.
No, I don't think so. I think I heard about it vaguely.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. So
you don't give a rundown. Give a quick rundown.
This was kind of a big deal. I guess it's a big deal. So Universal released Dracula Untold a few years ago, 2 years ago, right? Yes. And Luke Evans was Dracula, and that was meant to be their first big old cinematic universe starter. They were going to do a monsters universe with all the classic monsters. Didn't work out so well because no one liked that movie. It was terrible, and it didn't make very much money. So, in fact, they've just forgotten about it, and they're not even including it in their new thing, as far as I know. As far as I know. But basically, Universal intends for The Mummy now. They're trying round 2. To be their big Iron Man starter for their monster cinematic universe, where they're going to have the Invisible Man, played by Johnny Depp. They're going to have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, played by Russell Crowe, who is in The Mummy as that character. They're going to have Frankenstein, played by Javier Bardem, who's the villain in Skyfall. Okay. They're going to have the Mummy, played by whatever her face is, who's in The Mummy. And then I think a couple other things that I'm missing and I don't remember. But
probably.
So their idea is to take all of these classic monsters from the black and white serials, like all those characters, and like the Swamp Creature and the Wolf Man and all these, Tales from the Unknown stuff, right? And make them into a cinematic universe, and I guess unite them as their big monster Avengers, right? So what do you think of that idea?
Whatever.
Right.
I won't get into it. I'm not a monster fan, so
I mean,
like I'm not a huge fan of all those classic Dracula and
Yeah.
Frankenstein and Invisible Man or whatever. I mean, it'll be a thing, I guess. Is it going to be the next Transformers? Probably.
I would be a huge supporter of this. I would be so hyped
Would
for
you?
this, honestly.
Yeah?
If the Mummy actually looked good.
Yeah.
The Mummy looks like a big old CGI city-destroying movie again. Bwah, with her destroying
Bwah.
London, and there's buildings falling apart and stuff. And that's dumb, and I've seen it a million times, right? But what I think would be amazing would be to do more of a Cloverfield vibe, where
Ooh.
each film is a smaller
Ooh.
scale thriller or horror
Yeah.
film where characters, like a family goes to stay at a house and then they run into this character,
dang.
or blah, 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 right?
You should have told me this. Now I
Like,
can't go
more
see
like
these.
the older movies, right? Because the older movies aren't city-destroying stuff. Make them more small-scale horror films and then unite them in a big-scale horror film, right? And maybe that could, maybe that could be a city-destroying one.
Just maybe.
Maybe you can destroy a
Just-
city. Maybe, just maybe you get to destroy a city. Maybe.
Possibly.
See, but yeah, I think it would be cooler to have solo films that are all small scale and then unite in a big scale one. That could be awesome.
That'd
right?
be nice. Totally.
But as it stands now, I'm not very
but
hyped,
nope.
right? Because, like, I've seen it before, and I
Why?
don't know, right?
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
So,
Why are we doing this? I mean, it's gonna bring in the money for sure.
oh, of course,
But,
I'm sure it
yeah.
will.
Because that's all we do now. It's just
Unless the
money.
Mummy flops and all of this is canceled, right?
Oh, hey man.
Who's to say?
We can always hope.
I think that's it. Is there any
All
other
right,
news we're
cool.
missing? There was a Spider-Man Homecoming trailer, but it's the same stuff, you know.
Yeah. I mean, we got several trailers this week, didn't we?
Did we?
We got we got that Logan Lucky one, that Murder on the Orient.
Oh, there you
Express
go,
or
Murder on the
whatever.
Orient Express. Yeah. That looks great, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
I mean, did you watch the Logan Lucky trailer?
I did.
That looks great, doesn't it
It
too?
looks pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's got good old James Bond in it.
Yeah, exactly. He looks hilarious playing this
He
redneck
does.
character.
Yeah.
But you, before the episode, you were talking about how hyped you are for Murder on the Orient Express,
Yeah,
which is
it looks
directed
so cool.
and stars Kenneth Branagh, I believe. So, yeah.
It looks really cool. It's got the old mystery. Like, did you ever play that game Clue?
Yeah, it's like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I loved that game as a kid. That was so fun.
Yeah.
You know, so it looks like that. It looks like one of those one location. Hopefully it is. You know.
Yeah.
One location film just takes place on the train, which would be great. You know, because we love those. So.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it looks great. The cast is amazing. So, I'm hyped. For
Yeah.
sure.
I think someone's playing a piano.
Oh no.
Oi!
Oh,
Stop
no.
playing the piano! Are you serious?
We can't win,
Like,
man. We
I'm
can't
doing
win.
a podcast. Like,
We
I
can't
understand
win.
talking. I understand, like, walking around. Like, I can't stop people from doing that. But my sister's playing the piano in the room that directly backs up to this closet that I'm sitting in. Because, yes, I'm sitting in a closet. Like, gee whiz.
Oh boy.
Is she still playing it? I can't hear.
All right.
I think they stopped. All right. Well, we're wrapping up anyway, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Just.
But
about.
yeah, I thought the trailer looked amazing.
Yeah.
And what a cast, right?
Yeah,
Like, what a
yeah.
cast. We were talking about, before the episode started, what character we thought would be the murderer, right? And I don't know, because
Uh-huh.
it won't be the black guy, because then they'll be called racist.
Uh-huh.
And I think it might be a woman, because then it'd be
Yeah.
sort of a feminist move, because women can be murderers, too.
Oh.
And it might be a little less predictable, I think.
I hope that they're able to sell the. I hope they don't make it obvious to us. You know.
Yeah,
Watching
yeah.
this movie, I hope we're in the dark the whole time.
And I hope I don't get spoiled before it, because this was a book, you know.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
But, like,
What if they switch it up from the book though? You know.
yeah, I'm like,
Switch it all up.
I could see any of these characters being the murderer, right?
Yeah.
Like, I could see
Yeah.
it going any way. And each scenario I think of, I go, oh, no, but that would be too cliche.
Yeah.
But each one of them feels that way. So now I'm like, oh, but which one will it be, right? So that's an
this is
intriguing
trippy.
dilemma, right?
I like it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Twist your mind like that. It's great.
But I guess last thing, I'm growing tired as we speak. What time is it? 7:51.
Cramping up.
Oh man. What? So what do you we're pick of the week? Pick of the week.
Pick of the week. Pick
Yeah.
of the week. Well, I mean, of course we both saw Wonder Woman, but
Yes. Which I
I
recommend.
started watching Lost.
Oh yeah, you did, didn't you?
I got a show fever. I'm like, I want a good show. So I decided to start watching Lost. It's directed by J.J. Abrams and scored by Michael Giacchino.
Yeah.
And boy, it's amazing. It is so good.
Man.
I'm a few episodes into the first season, and there's like, so much character development and this and that. So many subtle things that like a character does something, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a whole character right there.
Right.
You know, that can be dived into and explored so deeply. You know, so I mean, you can totally tell J.J. Abrams, he knows where he's going with this.
Yeah.
He has it all written out, you know, which I love when a TV show knows where it's going there, you know, unlike the last few seasons of The Flash, you know, they're
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
ambling along and
Yeah.
doing this and that. No, this has a clear direction. It's going for it. And yeah, it's just amazing. It's so good.
I always
You
want to
gotta
start
watch
it,
it if you haven't,
and maybe
yeah.
I will. But right now,
got it.
I'm finishing
You
Doctor
got
Who
it.
stuff.
Yeah, you
'Cause
got it, man. It's
so
great.
overwhelming. Yeah.
If you can sit through Doctor Who, come on, sit through some Lost, Jurassic Park-esque.
Yeah, man.
What did
did
you
I
watch?
So
You
I
watched some
mentioned it
several stuff.
earlier. I saw Pirates 5 and King Arthur: Legend of the Sword and Get Out. Get Out I saw on DVD. In fact, after I rented the DVD, I then bought the Blu-ray because I loved it so
Of
much.
course you did. Of course you did.
Get Out was a phenomenal film. I absolutely adored it. And I don't know how rewatchable it would be. It
Okay.
might. It's one of these films that might be really rewatchable or might be not at all. I'm not really
Okay.
sure. I need to do it. But it's on the verge of a horror film, but not quite, because it's got these doses of comedy that are great. And it's really more of a thriller. In fact, like 10 Cloverfield Lane scared me more than this film did. So obviously it's not that scary, but
Sure.
it was definitely a compelling film. It was one that you invest in, and one where you feel the character's pain and you feel their fear, right? And the main lead was awesome. And if you haven't heard, this film is like genius in terms of the racial social commentary
I have heard,
on, you know, what it says about black people and white people and their relationship and everything. And it starts out as quite a comedy, but it gets more absurd and darker and becomes almost satire in a way towards the end. And I really loved it. It was really well paced and inventive and well done. So that's what I have to say about that.
Good stuff.
Next thing I would say is I saw Pirates 5, and I think I'm going to be doing a review. I don't know. I might do a review of Wonder Woman, Pirates 5, and King Arthur. All three of the most recent movies I saw.
Yeah.
Like a film workshop thing. Because I think those are going to be more triple reviews now, is what I'm thinking my goal will be.
Okay.
But I will say, Pirates 5 was a mess. I did not like it. I went in with low expectations, and I was still underwhelmed. The new leads, they were trying to do the whole Star Wars thing, right? Where it's like, we're bringing back the old cast, but we're also uniting them with a new cast, like Ray and Finn, right? No. The difference is that Ray and Finn were good actors, and these were terrible, 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 terrible actors, and very uncharismatic as well. Just and bland, and like Will Turner, we saw what drives him, right? And we saw his motivation, and we got to see a glimpse into his past and a glimpse into who he is and his skills. And with this new guy, there's nothing. He's the most bland, cookie cutter guy that just is in the story, as well as the fact that the movie doesn't really have like a drive at all. Like, it feels very purposeless for much of the film. They're after this thing, but it doesn't really feel like they're after it, because they're just on a boat waiting to get there, right?
Just ambling along here
Right.
and there.
And on the whole, I really didn't like it at all. And I would say even that On Stranger Tides is far better. Which I know that people hate that movie, but I actually like it quite a bit. Blah.
Blah. It's been a long night.
So yeah, it has. Woke up at 8:30 a.m. today, which is early for me. No, it was 8, I guess. Yeah.
Oh.
Dang, man. But the last movie was King Arthur: Legends of the Sword.
Yeah.
Legends of the Sword. And I actually enjoyed it better than I thought it would. It was better than Pirates 5, I
I'm
thought.
gonna go pro.
Yeah. There are quite a few moments like that seem kind of comedic. It is a very style over substance movie,
Yeah.
but it has a lot of style. And
Okay.
the style is awesome. And there are some great, like really good montages and editing and different things in this movie that are just exhilarating to watch. And the
Okay,
action is
cool.
pretty exhilarating to watch too. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing King Arthur. It's almost like a King Arthur prequel, really. Like,
Very nice.
it's the end of the film. We see him sort of coming into his own as King Arthur. Like, the round table starts getting built and stuff. And
Nice.
it's cool to see it come together. And I think Charlie Hunnam, who's from Pacific Rim, is a great lead. I think he was so good in this movie.
Okay.
The plot, though, is extremely convoluted and extremely complicated and very, at times, also without drive, I feel like.
Yeah.
Kind of like Pirates 5. As well as, there's all this weird stuff where, like, there's a tonal shift. There's, like, half of the film is in, like, a medieval village and stuff like that. And it feels very grounded, like this could almost barely happen in the real world, you know?
Sure.
But then we get into this stuff that's so magic based and so crazy. Like there's like a giant snake and like a giant elephant that wrecks a castle and like
Okay.
crazy witchy witchcraft stuff that just
Awesome.
gets absurd. And I'm like, I preferred it when it was grounded, I think.
Yeah.
And when it gets too magic-y, it's very video game-ish, which I didn't like. So yeah, it's not a great movie by any stretch, but I enjoyed the style, and I enjoyed Guy Ritchie's directing, and I enjoyed lots of the action. So, yeah, I liked it. I also saw The Circle, but it was trash, and I'm not even
Man.
going to talk about it. So,
You've
yeah.
seen a ton of stuff lately.
Yeah, man. I've been catching up on the 2017 movies.
I'm just watching Lost.
What episode are
what
you
I do.
on?
Catching up on 2004. That's what I'm doing.
What episode are you on?
Jeez, what episode am I on? Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I'm on like 6 or 7, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. I've been watching like 3 a day.
Oh, jeez. I know the feeling, though. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's great. I love it.
All right. Well, I think that's the episode. This was
Does that
quite a good
bring it to
episode.
a
I think we made some good discussion
We almost
today.
broke 2 hours. We
Almost?
almost did it.
Oh, man,
We
wow.
almost did it. We should carry on for 15 more minutes.
Jeez, man. All right. Well, where can people find us on social media?
Okay, I'm at nerd_stream7 on
Yes.
Instagram and Twitter and Letterboxd and all that jazz. So
I'm at
check it
Blockbusted
out.
Pod on Twitter and at Houston Productions 1 on Instagram. Although, again, I mostly just use my Twitter because Instagram is going out of style, man. But yeah, I'm that. And then also you can donate to this show on patreon.com/Houston Productions 1. Gained a few new patrons this week,
Very
which is
nice,
cool.
yeah.
You can, what's the other thing? Oh, t-shirts, right. Go to
yeah,
tpublic.com and
Yeah.
search Houston Productions 1, and there are Blockbusted t-shirts with both of our catchphrases and lots of different fun inside jokes and things that you can get. And I think there might be a sale going on right now. I don't know.
I think it ended.
Yeah? Yeah,
I think I
okay.
checked.
Maybe it did.
I could check right now.
Also, just a tiny note, there has been a bit of talk between me and Josh Taylor, who is the founder of Blimey Cow, which is an amazing YouTube channel, awesome
Yeah.
YouTube channel, and Kevin, who's the founder of Say Goodnight Kevin, which is also an awesome YouTube channel. Both of them have a podcast called The Inner Tube and also a podcast called Who Would Build the Roads, 2 podcasts. And
Okay.
he's looking to sort of start a podcast network, basically, where like we could all recommend each other's shows and things and be a part of sort of a podcast family, a brotherhood, if you will. But so nothing's really official yet. But that said, I'm going to go ahead and recommend their show anyway because
let's do
I'm
it,
a
yeah.
nice
They're
person,
fun.
man.
They're fun.
And yeah, their show is called The Inner Tube, and it is hilarious, as well as they have a political podcast called Who Would Build the Roads, which is also hilarious,
Yeah.
but
Good
also
stuff.
insightful. So yeah, I was just going to mention that because that might be a
it.
thing at some
Do
point.
it.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
I think that's it.
I
Anything
think
else?
that wraps up the show.
I guess we're doing every other episodes from now on.
I guess. I
So
mean,
maybe our next one will be.
it
something
Might be
else.
Snow Patrol Summer. What's
Baby
coming up next
Driver,
week?
maybe. That's June 28th.
Is that
So that won't be
28?
in. That'll be
No,
a little
that's
more.
4 weeks.
Yeah.
3
Yeah.
weeks.
Who's to say? We'll figure it out, won't we?
We'll just wing it.
Yeah,
won't we?
man. There you go. You dropped
We'll
your
wing it to
catchphrase.
the end.
What even is
Good.
this, guys? We'll see you later.
Boy.
Boy.
How's my battery not dead yet?
Oh, I know, right?